Hey, Coach, you got me?
Sir.
Okay. You want to just go ahead with an opening statement, then we'll open up to questions?
Yes, sir. Well, good afternoon. Appreciate you guys joining us. Certainly, I was disappointed with Saturday. Got right back to work yesterday with practice and meetings and preparation for a tremendous opportunity and a rivalry game, obviously, this coming Saturday. So injury-wise, I'm sure you guys are going to be asking. Verone is good. Ryan Walk will still be another couple of weeks. Steve Stevens will still be out. Keon will probably be out. DJ Johnson is day-to-day. And that's the ones I have for you right now. With that being said, questions, please.
Questions. We'll start with Eric Scopel from 247 Sports.
After a loss like that, Mario, that's so tough and low points of your time here. Do you burn the tape? Do you bury it? What's your approach after a game like that in terms of reviewing it?
No, I think if you burn it, it means you're just blowing it off. You're just forgetting about it. And I think if you don't assess it, analyze it, and take it right between the eyes, I think if you don't do that, it can happen to you again. So we're very honest with ourselves, obviously, from a coaching, planning, playing, just as an organization. Obviously, it's not good. It's not what we're used to. It's not our standard. Learn from it and go forward and attack it. Attack the issues that we cause on our own. Attack the great play that they had because they played some really good football too. And you're very real. That's always been the only way around here. And so it was a good start yesterday to getting on things because we have been playing some really good football. And in fact, because we played good football up until that point, we presented ourselves with a great opportunity this Saturday. So we have to do the things that we do well and do it to the best of our ability. That's when we play well. So we're back on it.
James Creppy of the Oregonian.
It's a third down defense specifically, Mario. You've only been affiliated with something like that once before in your career. I'm not sure it's ever happened at Oregon. Not sure Tim has ever had a performance quite like that. Upon review, what did you see of what happened, why it happened, and how it could get fixed against one of the best third down offenses this week?
I think the majority of it was the first and second down results. There were only a couple of third down situations that were 9+. Most of them were manageable, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2. And I think when you do that, you obviously give the advantage to the offense. They executed well, and we didn't. We got to do a better job coaching. We got to do a better job playing.
Zach Neal, Ducks Wire.
Coach, we've seen Anthony Brown get pretty banged up this year. I know he's not using that as an excuse, but I'm curious if we'll see any, reps with first team for Ty Thompson or Jay Butterfield in practice this week. And if you kind of change the game plan at all, knowing that your quarterback is suffering some injuries, although minor.
The quarterback is healthy, and we've planned some really good stuff up until this last game. And we will continue working on putting together our best game plan to play better. We didn't do a good job last game, and that's will be our approach.
Jared Denny, Scoop Duck on 3.
Hey, Mario, I'm just wondering what stands out to you about Oregon State's defense from what you've seen so far, particularly their linebackers, Roberts and Spates.
What really jumps out is the last 2 weeks, they have had tremendous production. They went from a couple of losses before their change at coordinator, giving up 37 and I believe 35 or 39 points, and they've held opponents an average of maybe 12 points a game last couple games and cut down the yards allowed in half as well. So they're playing at a high level, very disruptive, bringing pressure on 2 out of every 3 plays, playing both personnel groupings and an odd front and a 4-down front, pressure from the boundary, pressure from the field, a very active defense and plays very hard.
Eric Scopel.
Coach, obviously you spoke a lot about the culture here, and obviously I think it's a strength of the program. I wonder if you could speak to how it stood up the last couple of days when it has been put in adversity. Of you guys are in a tough situation, you're coming off a big loss. There's so much coming at you so quickly. Just kind of how have you guys leaned upon that, and how has that played out behind the scenes last couple of days?
Sure, it's important because it's going to be about the foundation, right? And when you have a rough night like that, you still have to make sure that you entrench yourself in the principles and values that gave you the opportunity as advanced program to this point. And it starts with what was mentioned before, facing reality. That's not the way that we are supposed to, as an organization, perform. And so you don't stray from your principles and values. You do address directly all the issues. And when I say issues, it's all taken together. Every coach, every trainer, every strength coach, anybody involved in this organization is responsible for the end result, starting with myself. So that's how we approach it. That's how we address it. There's just no fluff, and there's not going to be a fluff answer. Bad night, hate it, and we press on and we move on.
Matt Brame, 247 Sports.
Hey, Mario, just your thoughts on this offense. Seems like, in a way, they're kind of similar to Utah. They've got two really good tight ends. They've got a good offensive line, and they've got a really good running back.
Yeah, they have one of the best running games in the entire country, and they throw the ball extremely well off of it too. And not only in the play action game and their drop back as well. They're an excellent operation, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to play them.
James.
To go back to third down, Mario, because it was not just this past week. It has been a season-long issue, and certainly against your better opponents, it's been an even bigger issue. Can you guys have success when you're allowing greater than 50% on third down on defense against winning teams?
We can, and we have to get better.
Zach.
All games are important. Rivalry games maybe a little bit more so, but especially when you're facing a loss from this team last year. How much do you think that plays into the culture of the mindset of the team this week?
The rivalry games, they're always carrying a little bit extra, right? I think anyone that's played the game or has coached the game knows that it becomes something that doesn't even need to be brought up because it's already there. You got to make sure you hone in and focus in on the things that are going to allow you to execute at a high level, perform at a high level. Technique, the fundamentals, your discipline, eye discipline, physical discipline, gap integrity, playing with physicality, all those things. Rivalry games always bring out the most intensity, and everybody, players, fans, university communities, all that stuff. And that's what makes college football great. But is it part of the actual preparation process? It's not part of the actual practice.
Eric.
Coach, you were so critical after the Washington game of the kickoff coverage and punt coverage, and I think we saw an improvement against Washington State, but obviously the biggest play or one of the bigger plays against Utah was on a punt return. Can you speak to what a focal point that'll be in practice and maybe kind of what things you guys are doing to correct some of those shortcomings?
It was bad in every sense. The ball kicked or the ball punted was placed fairly close enough to the sideline on its way to try to be out of bounds without shanking it, and the coverage was poor. It's that simple. Poor technique, poor angles, poor effort. Not good enough. Got to be improved drastically for us to have success.
James.
In terms of this week, Mario, seniors wise, you don't have a lot of them, but will there be additional players because of the quote unquote junior class who's obviously all draft eligible and on a normal year would have been the senior class? What the plans are for how many of those players will walk and be honored on Saturday?
Not sure what the number is yet, but we'll get that to you guys as soon as we get a firm count.
Matt.
Yeah, Mario, earlier this year, you mentioned the importance of when they're available to get reps to some of the younger guys. You said that about Ty Thompson at quarterback. I'm curious, just when the game was in its final minutes, why use Anthony Brown in that situation when he was clearly dinged up, and not use a freshman to get him reps when you said previously they're so important, so hard to get?
Well, using reps on a quarterback is also dependent on what you want to do strategically with his year. Some of it could be based on the fact that if he plays in that one and that's his fourth game, then if he has to play in another game, well, you've already burned his shirt and now he can't get some more real time in another game. So there's a strategy behind everything. I think you can rest assured that we're not going to wing it with a player in his future.
James.
Against Washington defensively, it made real significant strides against 12 and 13 personnel. 13 personnel was more problematic this past weekend. I think all four of their rushing touchdowns came out of it, and they had success on it as well elsewhere. What do you see on the defensive side, Mario, against the multi-tight ends when Oregon State? That's what they do as well.
Combination of things. We got to plan it better. Got to call it better. Got to fit the run better. Got to play with better technique. got to strain more, get to the ball, and maintain gap integrity. Combination of all those things.
Eric,
Coach, I think a couple of years ago after the Arizona State loss, you talked about how tough that flight was back for you guys. And you don't obviously have to go into details of what was said, but can you kind of speak to the mood of what this flight from Salt Lake was like a couple of days ago?
It's the same, and it should be. This is this is always going to be a place where football is really, really, really important. And, no one should ever take comfort in a loss or performance like that. If anyone is okay with that, they need to get on another plane and find a way home.
James,
In the heat of the moment on any game, Mario, players play with emotion. That's part of it. Play with a lot of passion, as you point out at times. Much was made during the broadcast at times, though, sometimes of body language of receivers after plays, whether it be incompletions, what have you. And it looked like Devin was being separated from AB there late. What is your assessment of some of the things that, not just Saturday, but just again, how players play with passion and emotion at times, and where that may spill over and may not necessarily be constructive?
I don't think there's a narrative here to be created. I think the players tried their best to play hard. Did not see any issues between any receiver and our quarterback, especially receivers that were thrown in the fire after having a couple of late in one. The previous week had an injury on game day, and one happened during the course of the week. So, but I did not see or sense any type of drama or any type of or to what you're referring to. So if there is, it will certainly be handled.
Coach, that looks like all we have for you. Appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.